Magandang umaga. Si Dr. Cortez, your business doctor. And welcome sa ating bagong lesson in FinMan or Financial Management. So, ang topic natin this day is firm valuation. Makaroon lang na itong firm valuation, we are going to know the true value ng inyong mga company, ng inyong mga organization. We're going to discuss those methods that we can utilize to measure yung value ng inyong mga sariling organization or company. And before I continue, yung mga hindi nakapag-subscribe sa akin, pwede bang mag-request? So, click the button. And thank you in advance, guys. Okay, so tuloy tayo. Ito yung ating the agenda for today. The topics to be covered are the following: firm valuation, business market value, economic objectives of the firm, your company, your organization, and we're also going to talk about those non-financial objective kasi maraming objectives ang ating mga company, ang mga organization. Meron silang maraming objectives, not only for profit. May ibang purpose why an organization exists. Yun ang ating pag-uusapan today, discuss. And I also have the learning outcomes, the learning objectives of the topic for the day. Ibig sabihin, pagkatapos ng ating lesson today, ito yung things that you are capable of doing after we are done with the topic or lesson for today. So, brace yourself and we're going to start the recording natin, the lesson for FinMan. So, yung ating main topic nga, as I said, yung first topic natin to be taken is the firm valuation. If you want to know kung magkano yung halaga ng inyong mga company, ng inyong mga business, ito yung tinatawag nating firm valuation. And we're going to talk about those methods on how to value, para malalaman kung magkano yung worth ng inyong mga company. So, ang ating unang slide, one, determining your business market value. Kung meron bang, kung may bibili, magkano siya sa market. The fair market value, ibig sabihin, ito yung existing value ng yung company. The current value. Hindi ito yung mga naunang value, but ito yung current value ng mga company. Now, if you're assuming that you want to sell your company, you're now ready to sell your business and use the proceeds to help finance your retirement of your next venture. Example, meron kang after college, itinayo kang negosyo, IT solution business. And after 10 to 20 years, parang nagsawa ka na, parang you want to have an early retirement or you want to create a new business na mas hindi masyadong labor intensive. So, bibenta mo yung iyong negosyo. Then, how are you going to price? No? Pagkano yung presyo? So, there are a number of ways to determine yung market value ng iyong business. Important neto para hindi ka maloko, assuming that you don't have an idea. So, at least now, meron kang stock knowledge on how to compute yung value ng iyong company para pag ikaw ay nag-retire, so alam mo at least kung magkano ang kanyang halaga. Right, so the first one, ang una mong gagawin is siyempre ang iyong company, marami siyang mga asset. Pag sinabi nating asset, ito yung mga property na yung company. Example, yung cash, yung mga pautang or receivable, yung mga inventory, supplies, equipment, machinery, materials, land, building. Okay? Yan yung mga ari-arian ng iyong company, mga asset ang tawag natin dyan. Yan yung mga ari-arian na nakikita natin. Or we call those as the tangible assets. Now, pag mayroong tangible assets, meron din tayong mga intangible. Pag sinabi intangible, ito yung mga assets na wala silang physical property. But they are very valuable for the company. Kahit di mo siya nakikita. Yung sample ng mga intangible assets na they don't have physical property or physical characteristics ay yung branding, yung brand mo. That is important. That is an asset, brand. Yung trademark, yung goodwill on the location. Pag maganda location, yung value ng iyong property tumataas eh. Yung tawag natin dyan ay mga goodwill. Goodwill is yung mga prestige sa community, yung iyong magandang reputation sa community, the location. Those are goodwill. Ang copyrights, trademarks, patents, franchise. Yan ang mga example ng mga intangible asset. Di natin nakikita mo ngayon. They don't have physical characteristic. Sa document lang natin siya nakikita eh. Okay? So pag pinagsama natin yung mga yan, yung dalawang type of asset na yan, the tangible asset and the intangible asset. Yung nga, equipment, inventory, property. Pag napagsama na natin yan, babawasan natin dyan yung utang or debt or liability ng business. Siyempre, pag negosyo may mga ari-arian siya, meron din sa mga utang. Alright? So, para malaman natin ang value ng iyong property, i-total mo ang lahat ng asset ng iyong company. Example, total asset, 10 million. Pero meron kang debt or liability, 2 million. So 10 million minus 2 million, get the difference. Yan yung tinatawag nating yung net worth ng iyong company. Pag sinabing net worth, total asset, bawas mga liability mo. Ayan. So yan ang iyong net worth. So ang iyong company, you can value your company based on the net worth. So magkano? Di ba ang asset natin 10 million? Ibawas ba yung 2 million na liability or utang? So, ang natira 8 million. So, ang value ng yung property based on the asset based on method number 1 ay 8 million pesos. Okay? Not very accurate kasi nga, ang iyong negosyo hindi naman siya palagi nakabase sa asset eh. Your business may be worth more than the net asset of your company. Yung net asset, yung 8 million, di ba? Asset minus liabilities, net asset, 8 million. 8 million ba talaga? Minsan hindi. Kasi the value can be more than the 8 million or the net asset. But the important thing, you have an amount that you can work around. At least alam mo na iikot ka lang sa 8 million, mababa or mataas, basta yan ang iyong threshold. Okay? Compared sa totally, hindi mo alam kung magkano. Pero nga, alam mo na, 8 million, at least 8 million, tumaas o bumaba, so around 8 million ang value ng yung property. Using the value of your asset. So that is your method. Our method number 1 in valuing your asset. And let's go to method number 2. Okay. So kanina, nag-base tayo sa net asset ng ating company. Sa number 2 naman, you can base your asset, your company. Ibig sabihin, pag binenta mo yung business mo, you can base on the revenue. Pag sinabing revenue, ito yung average na benta ng iyong company. Yung kita sa loob ng isang taon. O magkano bang kita ng iyong company sa loob ng isang taon? O sabi mo, for the last 5 years, ang revenue ng aming company, nag-average siya ng 20 million. That is the average revenue. So pag binenta mo yung company, you can value it based on your average revenue. ng iyong company. So how much does the business generate in annual sales? Pag sinabing sales yung benta, no? So you should calculate, or meron ka ng record yan eh. Kasi may mga ginagawa kang report sa iyong company. So alam mo na kung magkano ang iyong average total sales or revenue sa company. Okay? So you can calculate that and determine for a stockbroker kung magkano ang halaga ng iyong company. Yung mga stockbroker kasi, no? Sila yung nakakaalam eh. Sila yung expert in valuing your property. So, pwede kang magtanong sa stockbroker, lapit ka sa stockbroker. Tanong mo sa kanila. Sabi mo, stockbroker, gusto kong ibenta yung aking company. Magkano kaya halaga ng aking company? Mga stockbroker, alam nila yan. Okay? Itanong ng stockbroker sa iyo, o sige, magkano bang average revenue nyo bawat taon? O sabi mo, 20 million. Okay? O sabi ng stockbroker, ang value ng iyong property ay more than the revenue or the sales. Okay? O sabi ng stockbroker i-compute natin yan, 20 million, i-multiply mo lang ng 2. So 40 million times 2, sabi ng stockbroker. So 40 million times 2, that is 80 million. So ang value ng iyong property is 80 million pesos. Okay? Kasi nga, sabi ng stockbroker, hindi naman palaging mas mataas ang value ng iyong company doon sa benta mo. Kasi benta lang yan no? Yung company mo, merong meron pang mga additional equipment, no? So, yung 20 million na benta mo isang taon, i-multiply mo ng 2. Yan. So, ang inyong value ng property is 80 million pesos. Right? Hindi lang sa benta. Hindi lang sa asset naka-base but on the revenue. Tapos minumultiply mo siya times 2. No? So, that is the valuation ng asset natin based on the revenue ng iyong business. Okay? So, let's go to the third method of valuing your property. Okay, number 3, we can use a more relevant measure. Ito yung use earnings multiple. Ito yung mas relevant. Mas ginagamit daw nila itong number 3. So, we can use a more relevant measure is probably a multiple of the company's earnings. Or we can use the price to earnings ratio or the PE ratio. So, gawin natin dito, we should estimate the earnings ng ating company for the next 5 years. If a typical price earning ratio is 15, example, no? The typical price earning ratio ng isang company is 15 pesos and the projected earnings are not pesos, no? $15. Ang typical price earning ratio ng ating company is $15 and the projected earnings or kita ng ating company is $200,000 a year. Okay? So, paano natin malalaman? By the way, kunan natin muna yung kanyang price earning ratio or the PE ratio ng ating company. So, ang PE ratio, ito yung presyo ng iyong common stock. Sa mga corporation kasi, they are selling stock to the market. So to the public. Mga company mga companies na they go public. Yung kanilang mga stock, if you want to buy a stock of a corporation, para maging stockholder ka, pwede. So magkano ang per stock ng isang company? Ito yung average common stock per share. Okay? So example, the average common stock per share ng isang company ay 45 pesos. Kaya nga dito, isulat ka dito, 45 pesos. Di ba? Okay. Ito yung common stock or price of common stock, price of common stock, or price of stock per share. So, okay, pag bibili ka ng share ng isang ng isang company, ito yung presyo niya. Kunwari, no? 45 pesos, $45, kunwari. $45. $45 ang isang stock ng corporation. Okay, di ba? Meron ka na. Okay? So, ang next mong gagawin, alamin natin, no? Kung magkano, teka, ba't napunta pala ako dito? Teka lang. Dito tayo, di ba? Andito tayo. Okay. So, lagyan ulit dito yung price of stock per share is $45. The next natin kukunin yung net income per share. Net income per share. Ayan. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng net income per share. Pagkano ang kinita mo ng iyong company sa bawat shares of stocks. Yan ang net income per share. Now, assuming ang net income per share natin is $5. $5. Yeah. $5. Okay? So, pag nakuha mo na yung kung magkano, di ba kayo? Baka nakikinig sa akin Pataas nga ng kamay. Okay. So, ang price of stock per share is $45. The net income per share is $5. So, divide mo lang siya. Okay? Pag na-divide mo siya, $45 divided by 5, ang sagot is 15. $15. Okay? Yung $15, yan tinatawag nating price-earning ratio. Price-earning ratio. 15. Okay? So, tandaan nyo $15. Now, yung price-earning, yung $15 na yan, na tinatawag natin price-earning ratio, gagamitin natin yan in computing the earnings multiple. O tandaan nyo yung $15. $15. Now, yung ating price-earning ratio. Okay? Now, gagamitin natin 15, ito na siya. 15. The price in yung earning ratio is $15 and projected earnings is 200,000. Ang gagawin natin, we just multiply 200,000 by $15. Okay? Ang lalabas niyan is $3 million. Ibig sabihin, yung value ng iyong negosyo is $3 million. Ayan. So, we just multiplied the 200,000, the earnings, multiplied by the price-earning ratio na $15. Tapos, that is how you get, that is more relevant daw. Yung madalas nilang gamitin kaysa sa revenue, kaysa sa asset, no? Yung price-earning ratio ang ginagamit. Kaya lang, this one is applicable only sa mga corporation. Kasi ang sole proprietorship and partnership, they don't have shares of stocks. Okay, that is na method number 3 natin. Okay, so ang next nating method na gagamitin, so we have the fourth one. Yung first 3 kasi na ginamit natin, no? We use the asset, we use the revenue, we use the price-earning ratio. Yun yung mga financial formula. Pero may mga valuation din that we are not using financial. We don't use amount. Sa number 4 kasi, we cannot just base our assessment on the business value on numbers only. Hindi puro numbers ang pwede natin gamitin. Kasi we can consider the value of your business based on its geographical location. Yung tinatawag ko kaninang yung goodwill ng iyong company. Okay? Kasi you can base the value depende sa location. Pwede mo siyang presyuhan. Kasi, ito, ang value ng aking business, mga sa 50 million na. Kung nagtanong yung buyer, bakit 50 million? Kasi ang location nito napakaganda, prime location. Malapit sa mall. Yung presyo ng mga lupa dito, mga mahal. Tapos, corner lot pa yung aking pwesto. Talagang daanan ng tao to. Yung volume ng traffic dito, yung volume ng human traffic ay marami, malaki. Umaga at hapon. So, ang value na ito, ganon. Based on its geographical location. Ayan. So, that is what we call the goodwill. Tapos, yung business, kilalang-kilala na sa lugar. Marami ka ng mga customers. Yun ang binabayaran doon. Kasing negosyo mo ay 10 years na doon sa location. Tapos marami sang mga tao. Ayan. So, andiyan pa ba? May nakikinig pa ba sa akin? Baka wala nang nakikinig. Okay. In addition, you can consider also the value ng iyong business pag alam mong mayroong mangyayaring synergy. Pag sinabi natin synergy, pag magko-combine ka sa isang potential na business, yung value ng business lalago eh. Example, yung negosyo mo ay nagbabalak ka ng may nakikipag-combine may nagbabalak ng ikipag-merge sa iyong company. Isang malaking company. Biglang may bibili ng iyong negosyo. Sabi mo, ay itong value ng aking negosyo mas tumaas na ngayon. Bakit? Kasi may potential na gusto makipag-merge, makipag-combine sa akin. Pag binili mo to, at nag-merge na kayo na aking potential buyer, so, ang value na ito lalago. Kaya ngayon pa lang, pinipresyon ko na sa ng malaki. Because of that potential synergy na pwedeng mangyari. Ayan. Yun ang mga apat na ways how are you going to value yung iyong company or business. Okay, ito naman yung goals. The goal of your company, the goal of the firm. Hindi lang sabi ko kanina, hindi lang naman tayo palaging profit eh. Maraming gustong gawin ang iyong company. Ito yung mga tinatawag natin economic objectives. So, market share, ibig sabihin, your company wants to capture, hindi lang basta kumita, but your company wants to capture a bigger market share. Pwede rin profit, pwede rin tubo, no? Pwede rin return on investment, pwede rin technological advancement, or kung ikaw yung talagang ma-philanthropy, kahit wala ka masyadong kitain, basta mayroong customer satisfaction, basta satisfied mga customers mo, okay lang, kahit ang profit, maliit lang. Or you want to increase the wealth ng mga investor mo. Yung mga value, mga shareholders, these are the person who invested in your company and you want to increase their value, yung kanilang equity. Kasi itong mga to, nag-invest sa iyong company kasi they want to increase their equity. Gusto nilang lumago mga pera nila. So yan ang iyong goal, shareholder value. I-discuss natin market share. Ayan. Market share is the ultimate goal of any business, capturing market share. Market share growth is an unavoidable objective. Pag yung company mo ay talagang magaling, maganda, innovative, there's no way but to go up eh. Automatically, your company will capture a large share of the market. And so tracking the company's rate of new customer acquisition is an effective way to gauge a marketing plan's contribution to growing market share. So, yung market share, dalawang gamit sa'yo, no? You can gauge kung gaano nakarami. Percentage kasi ito eh. Example, sa 100 customers, ilan dyan ang potential na buyer mo? O sabi mo, 85% sa akin. So, na-measure mo kung ilan yung magiging market share. And that is your target, di ba? Measurable eh. Ang goal mo dapat is measurable eh. Doon nasusukat mo. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin gusto mo lang makaka-capture ng malaking market share. Lagyan mo ng percentage. So, ang tamang goal, you want to capture 75% of the market. Right? Para meron kang pang-measure. Wala kasing sinita percentage, hindi mo ma-measure kung naaabot mo o hindi yung market share mo. Okay? So, isang goal pa ng company, the profit margin of the co is commonly used profitability ratio. So how do we measure yung profitability? Normally, profit margin ratio yung ating ginagamit. Pag sinabi natin profit margin ratio sa benta mo or sa iyong sales, ilan dyan ang converted into profit? Kasi siyempre, pag nagbenta ka, hindi naman lahat yan profit eh. Right? Sapo, nakabenta ka ng 10 pesos. Benta yan. Hindi yan automatic yung profit kasi hindi automatic yung tubo kasi meron kang ibabawas dyan. Yung puhunan, yung cost or the expenses. Bago makuha ang iyong net profit. Sa net profit margin, ito yung percentage figure that indicates how many cents of profit the business has generated sa bawat benta mo. Sa bawat pisong benta mo, ilan dyan ang profit? Ayan ibig sabihin yan. No? Like for instance, if a business report that it received a 35%, malaki ito 35% profit margin during the last quarter. Yan ang report eh. So ano ibig sabihin ng 35%? Sa bawat piso mo na benta, 35 cents ang tubo. Sabihin, 65 cents ang gastos at puhunan. Hindi pwede mo lang gastos eh, di ba? Namumuhunan ka talaga dyan at may mga incidental expenses din yan. Okay, example, ang sales mo, benta, 100,000. Ang net profit or tubo ay 35,000. Ang profit margin mo or profit margin ratio is 35%. Kasi ang profit margin ratio is expressed in percentage. Para madali nating malaman kung naabot mo o hindi yung profit margin. Nag-set ka ng target, sabi mo, dapat maka-profit ako ng 30%. In actual is 35. So, ibig sabihin niya, nalampasan mo yung target na 30%. Yan ang maganda na pag meron kang percentage na ginagamit. Okay, so let's continue with this. Pwede naman na return on investment. So, minsan hindi profit ang hinahanap at ROI or return on investment. So itong ROI is a performance measuring tool na ginagamit natin to evaluate yung efficiency or profitability ng investment, example, ng asset na ating ginamit. Kasi pag bumili ka ng asset, investment yan eh. Example, bumili ka ng machine worth 1 million. Bilang tanong mo, nung ginamit ko yung asset, ilan kaya yung profit na nakuha ko sa paggamit ng asset na to? Yan yung return on investment. Gusto mong malaman magkano yung profit na na-generate in using the equipment worth 1 million pesos. So ang ROI, it tries to directly measure the amount of return or profit on a particular investment. Sabi ko, ang asset or equipment is an investment relative to the investment cost. So, pwede mong malaman no? Kung magkano yung ROI ng isang equipment, building, land, equipment, no? Yun minsan yung gusto mong malaman Ang ginagamit pa ng asset, ang tanong mo, meron bang pakinabang dito sa asset na to? Meron bang ROI? Kaya important sa'yo minsan, yung ROI. Now, to calculate the ROI, or the benefit or return of an investment, ang gagawin natin, you just divide the profit by the cost of the investment. Okay? So, ang lalabas niyan, ROI. Or yung percentage ratio, ROI. No? Kasi ang ROI should be expressed in percentage. Example, sa inyong company, kumita or tubo ng company, net profit is 500,000 pesos. Isang taon, 500,000 pesos. Then, ang investment mo sa lahat ng asset, no? Siyempre, pag nag-negosyo ka, may mga asset kang ginamit Vehicle, equipment, building. Pag kinwenta mo yung lahat na yon, ang value is 3 million. That is your investment in asset. At gusto mong malaman, itong mga asset na ginamit ko, magkano ang pakinabang ko dito? So you simply divide your net profit of 500,000 divided by the 3 million. And it will give you 16.66 something. To round off, ang sagot is 17%. Ibig sabihin, the return on investment sa mga asset natin is 17%. So ano ibig sabihin yan? Sa bawat 100 pesos na ginamit mo sa asset, 17 pesos ang ROI. O yung tubo mo, o yung kita mo sa asset is 17. Alright? So yun ang sabi mo okay din pala, no? Sa bawat gamit ko, may 17% na return ako nakukuha. O yan, yun ang essence ng ROI. Kung bakit natin kinukuha ang value niya. Okay? Then, isa pa sa mga goals mo, take note guys, pinag-usapan natin dito, yung mga economic goals ng business. Okay? Una-una, di ba? You want the market share, you want the profit, you want the ROI. Ito naman, pag nag-negosyo ka, meron ka namang ibang purpose na technological advancement. Gusto mo lang makasabay sa technology. So it requires companies to continue to expand, develop, and adapt to stay competitive in a rapidly. So never mind the ROI, never mind the market share, never mind the profit. Ang gusto mo lang talaga dito, to be competitive, makasabay lang. Ano yung mga latest sa iyong industry, yan ang goal mo. Technology is changing not only the way a company does business, but also the way people are valued by a company. As technology evolves, companies need to gain a competitive advantage. Tulad ngayon guys, sa marketing. Dati kasi, sabi nila, pag wala kang online presence sa business, you are a dead business. So dapat, you are doing online marketing. Right? You are doing social media marketing daw. To be competitive, para makasabay ka. Ngayon, sa marketing, social media is dead. Okay? AI na ang ginagamit ngayon. Ang bilis, Dati SOCMED Ngayon, AI marketing na ang ating ginagamit. Hindi na social media. So, ano ibig sabihin? If you are not well-versed, or if you are not techie, you are not familiar with using AI sa business, maunahan ka ng mga kalaban mo. Okay? Especially mga traditional na business na hindi masyadong nag-online. Maunahan sila mga kalaban, AI yung kalaban, ikaw ginagamit mo, flyers pa rin. Or Facebook advertising pa rin ginagamit mo, iba AI na. Kaya iba ang kanilang purpose. is to be competitive, makasabay, maging familiar sa mga technology like AI, paano siya gamitin. Kasi hindi mo naman talaga ma-appreciate ang gamit ng AI sa marketing kung hindi mo sa ginagamit. So dapat gagamitin mo sa business. And that is your goal. Never mind profit, kahit wala mo ng profit, basta makasabay ang malaman ko paano ginagamit yung mga technology sa negosyo. Right? So that is the purpose of the business. One purpose of the business. Now, your business also wants not the advancement, but customer satisfaction naman. Ang iyong gusto. Ito magandang mga negosyong ganito na ethical kasi karaming negosyo, they are after the profit. So, pag sinabing profit, kahit hindi satisfied yung customers, kahit yung product hindi masyadong quality, basta meron silang profit, mas okay sa kanila. Iba naman, they want customer satisfaction. So they put premium on customer satisfaction kasi customer satisfaction increases referrals. Right? Powerful ang word of mouth publicity. Sa business nyo, yung mga taong satisfied, hindi mo sana nagkakwento yan eh. Pero mga taong hindi satisfied, mas nagkakwento yan. So, ganoon ka-powerful ang word of mouth publicity. You can be destroyed ng word of mouth in just a short time. Now, pag satisfied sila, siyempre, basically, they will refer you to other companies. Pag maraming referral, maraming customers, increase profitability. Maraming benta. Kung maraming benta, so maraming profit. Ang profit margin mo, malaki. So it is not enough that your product or service or even an attractive price impresses customers. Once they purchase your offering, important guys, no? Sa marketing kasi, iba kasi ang marketing sa sales. Ang pinopromote natin, marketing. Hindi lang yung sales. Pag sales kasi, you're just after the benta, you're just after the sales. Pag nabenta mo yung product, okay na, tapos na. Hindi mo tinitin kung satisfied or hindi yung customer mo. That is selling, that is sales na. Ang marketing kasi iba. Ang marketing malawak. Mas malawak sa kesa selling. Ang marketing nag-start sa nag-start sa market research. Inaalam mo kung ano yung mga magpapasatisfy sa customer mo, then gagawin mo yung product. Then pag naibenta yung product, hindi ko pitigil dyan kasi part ng marketing yung after sales support. Ang selling kasi, natapos din sa pagbenta. Ang marketing, it goes beyond. So, ang marketing ganito, ma'am, tumawag ka, di ba? Ma'am, kamusta po yung product na binili mo sa amin last week? Satisfied po ba kayo? Baka meron kayong complaints, baka meron kayong problem? Okay, that is marketing. Yung after sales support. After sales support, repair, replace, refund, or extended warranty. That is marketing. Ibig sabihin, hindi ka lang mukhang pera. Kasi tinatanong mo kung satisfied sila o hindi dun sa product na binili. Alright, so let's go to... Are you still with me? May mga tao ba dyan? You also want to increase the shareholder value. Ang negosyo, hindi lang dapat yung owner ang yumayaman, kundi yung mga investor din nag-invest ng pera dun sa business. We call them the shareholders. So, ang purpose ng company, the shareholder value, maximization. So, the management daw should seek to maximize yung present value, yung return ng investment ng mga owners or shareholders or investors ng company. Siyempre, pag nag-invest ka ng pera sa isang company, you're expecting na tataas ang value, di ba, ng yung investment. So, yun dapat ang goal ng isang owner, no? Aside from pinapayaman yung sariling company, he should also maximize the wealth of the shareholders or investors ng company. Thus, total shareholder wealth equals the number of shares outstanding times the market price per share. Ayan, paano malalaman yung value ng yung investment sa isang company? Example, si Mr. X, bumili ng shares of stocks ng iyong company worth 1,000 pesos. 1,000 piraso, 1,000 shares. Pagkanong value nung binili niya? 10 pesos. So si Mr. X nag-invest sa iyo ng 1,000 times 10. So ang worth ng investment na nilabas ay 10,000. 1,000 times 10 eh. Yan yung kanyang investment. Expecting na ang value ay tataas. Then after 2 years, yung value ng kanyang investment from 10 pesos ay naging 15 pesos na. So tumubo na siya, di ba? So ang value ng kanyang investment now sa company is 1,000 times 15. That is 15,000. From 10,000 naging 15,000. So lumago na siya ng 5,000. That is what we call increasing the share value. The mga shareholders natin. Ibig sabihin, you will get more investors pag nakita nila na lumalago yung kanilang investment doon sa iyong negosyo. Yan. So dapat yan din yung ating goals sa company, no? Palaguin yung mga shareholders value. Okay. So let's move on. I continue discussing this, no? Pag nag-invest ka, kahit yan ay shares of stocks, ang ini-invest mo ay yung mga extra money mo. Huwag mong i-invest sa mga pera na ginagamit mo for expenses, no? Yung pang tuition, huwag mo pang invest yan. Yung pang food, pang expense, huwag. Kasi ang investment, ang dapat mong gamitin dyan, yung mga extra money mo. Yung mga sobra. Kapag ikaw nag-sweldo, hatiin mo yung pera mo into pang-entertainment, may pang-entertainment kang pera, pero pang necessities na mga pera, meron kang pang investment, meron kang pang emergency. Ayan, ganun ang hatian, no? Ng pera, ng sweldo mo. Okay, so more on the goal of the firm. Ito naman yung mga other goals of the firm. Non-economic objectives. Kasi yung kanina pinag-usapan natin, yung market share, yung ROI, yung profit margin, yung tinatawag natin yung mga economic goal ng company. Ito naman ay may objective ng company na non-economic. Yung tawag natin, non-economic objectives. Example, workplace environment, product quality, service to community. So parang walang masyadong halong pera dito. Kasi non-economic. Pinag-usapan natin. Example, how to make your workplace healthy. Oh, yeah, that is one non-economic objective of the company. Workplace environment. Kapaganda. No? Kapaganda yung environment, yung ambience sa loob ng company. So, discuss natin yung una. Workplace environment. Important ba? Important to be positive impact for many reasons. Having a positive or conducive work environment has many impact for the company. Marami tayong reason why we should be promoting yung magandang workplace environment para sa mga workers. It can involve better condition. So, when do we say that maganda ang isang workplace environment? If it can involve better condition for workers, which can improve loyalty. Ang nagpapa-improve ng loyalty ang good place environment. Build the corporate brand. Ayan. So, akala natin dati walang kwenta yung walang impact sa atin yung workplace environment. So, mayroon pala. Nakakataas ng moral yung isang magandang company, no? Kahit yung ambience, yung lugar, may magandang employee lounge yung company, may magandang cafeteria, example, libreng coffee, free flowing coffee. Tapos eat all you can, libre mga food sa loob. May mga amenities na pwede mong gamitin pag break time like flat screen television, may gym, no? May chapel, may mga board games, may palaruan, may billiard table sa loob. So parang pag ginagamit mo yan, parang sa, if you will browse, try browsing, try looking for the work environment of Google. Ibang-iba sa normal na na corporate or office setup. Ang ganda niya. Pag pumasok ka doon sa Google, parang pakiramdam mo you are spoiled, no? The company is looking after the welfare of the company. Nakaka-motivate siya. Parang productivity mo imagine parang sa bahay ka lang nagtatrabaho kasi may sofa. So instead of office chairs, furniture, sofa. Ang makikita mo sa Google workplace environment. So pag ako yan talaga yung employee satisfaction, I could be engaged more, become more productive. Parang ayaw ko nang umalis sa ganung company, so loyalty. Diba? So may mga tao kasing they are not just after the salary. Gusto iba minsan yung magandang samahan sa isang company. Yung good workplace environment, gusto nila yan. O yung camaraderie, yung rapport sa loob ng isang company. So you invest on a good work environment. Yung samahan, interpersonal relationship. Okay, so a company will also be looking for quality product, creates unshakable customer loyalty, not for profit. Right? So kahit wala masyadong profit, as long as the company, the customers are satisfied, gaganda namin ng product namin kahit maraming gastos. Basta satisfied ang may customers. Kasi when customers find a product they trust, ang maganda sa negosyo na satisfied ang isang customer, yung retention yung pabalik-balik na customers. Yung mga suki, nagiging suki sila. Kasi ang retention natin sa ating mga customers, yung repeat purchases. Right? Ang repeat purchases, itong retention. For example, meron kang 1,000 customers, hindi satisfied. Sa 1,000 ang bumalik, 500 lang. Ito kalahati nawala. So ilang percent yan ang nawala? 50%. Mas okay yung customers na na 500 lang sila pero ang bumalik ay 400. Okay? So ilang percent yan? 80%. So 80% ang bumalik. So mas maganda yan. Kasi satisfied sila. They will make a repeat purchases. So wag kang don't be complacent. Don't be satisfied kung marami kang customer sa unang araw. Pero palang araw walang bumalik, pangit yan. Ang ganda yung kahit konti lang, pero lahat ay bumalik. Alright? That is retention. And they will refer you more. In addition to the returning customers, they will refer your company sa ibang tao. Sabi ko kanina, matindi ang word of mouth publicity. Isang satisfied customer, magkukwento yan sa tatlo. Then yung tatlong magkakwento pa yan. So namalayan mo nilang ang dami mo ng customers. To invest, make it a goal na to provide quality product sa mga customers mo. Pag service naman the client. The next one, you should help the community. Yan. Although pag sa unang taon ng iyong company, hindi pa naman talaga maraming profit. But later on kasi, as the year goes by, dumadami ng mga customers mo. So later on, ang profit, hindi mo na masyadong problema. It's almost automatic. Tulad ni Bill Gates, no? Kaya hindi na profit ng kanyang problema kasi automatic, nagkaka-profit na siya. Pero sa una pa lang, siyempre, ang goal mo is economic, net profit. But later on, example, naka 10 years ka na sa company, ang goal mo iba na Ang goal mo later on is to be philanthropy na, not profit. Kung gusto mo lang tumulong, sa society, sa mga tao sa palibot ng iyong community. Yun ang goal mo later on pag ano ka na pag ikaw ay medyo malaki ng business. Meron ka ng role to the community. Okay? So, it helps the brand promote a positive culture sa isang company. By the way, ang tawag natin dito is the CSR, Corporate Social Responsibility. Malakas ang impact yan sa mga company na gumagawa niyan. Kasi pag nakita ng community ng isang company tumutulong, may epekto sa brand yan Right? Sabi mo sige, sabi mo sa mga sa community, lahat sa bawat 10 piso na benta ng aming company, ang piso ay ibibigay namin sa charity. So anong sabi ng customers mo? Bili tayo dito kasi bawat bili natin sa kanila, may share ang community, may share ang charity. Ang tulong, example, tree planting, mass feeding, gift giving, di ba? Medical reach out, tumutulong yung company, nagdo-donate yung company sa mga school. So maganda yung impact ng isang company yung tumutulong sa community. So pag malaki na yung company mo kasi pag bago ka pa lang, siyempre hindi mo pa priority yung corporate social responsibility. But later on, automatic yan. I want to summarize, guys, ng isang negosyo. Marami siyang goal, no? Unang-una, siyempre, profitability. Pangalawa, your company should increase the value of the investment of the people, of the investors. Pangatlo, siyempre, you should satisfy yung mga customers mo, mga bumibili. At pang-apat, you should also help in the community. Yun ang mga goals ng iyong company. Bakit ikaw ay nagbi-business? Okay, so that is the last slide, and with that, I would like to thank you all you guys for watching my video recording, and sa mga susunod pa nating mga topic. So hoping that you will still watch those recording. So hanggang dito lang muna, and see you around, people, sa aking mga future recordings. Bye everyone.